Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. And we've got a packed show today with Ruben Amorim wasting absolutely zero time with his rebuild as he tells Alejandro Garnacho to go and find a new club. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's just jump straight into it. So, Ruben Amorim informs Manchester United squad he will be in charge next season, plus tells Alejandro Garnacho to find new club. Happened during meeting between Portuguese head coach and Manchester United players at Carrington training base today. David Ornstein, in his report, said that sources with knowledge of the matter, speaking anonymously to protect relationships, indicate Amorim has addressed players at the club's Carrington training ground on Saturday to inform them of his own plans and those for Garnacho. So according to David Ornstein, suggesting that he did that in front of the players as well in a kind of group scenario, effectively told Alejandro Garnacho to go and find a new club, which is insane. I mean, fair play to Ruben Amorim for that. There's clearly been some kind of relationship breakdown. There are reports that it happened or it started at the Chelsea game when Garnacho wasn't included in that game, and then it obviously escalated to the cup final where we had Amorim saying things in this post-match press conference, Garnacho obviously saying things in his post-match interview as well, and his brother putting things online clearly to the point now where, there's been a clear relationship breakdown. I'm sure it will come out in the wash what exactly's happened, so I'll wait and reserve, thoughts and comments on that, because a lot of it is kind of rumours and hearsay and speculation at this particular moment in time. I want to wait for a bit more credibility around exactly what's kind of happening, because I'm sure it will come out. If David Ornstein knows that there was a meeting, I'm sure he knows what was kind of said in the meeting or the reasons behind it as well. But yeah, clearly Ruben Amorim stamping his authority and saying, look, get out, effectively telling Garnacho to go and find a new club. There are reports so that Garnacho maybe wants to go anyway, but that is insane, and it is what it is when it goes through. I'll go through the rest of the Garnacho news, and then I'll share some thoughts on it as well, and I'm sure you will get involved in the comments regarding this situation. So Alejandro Garnacho remains a possibility for Chelsea, while Napoli are still keen. United wanted 70 million euros back then, but price expected to drop this summer. That came from Ben Jacobs. Chris Wheeler was saying that Manchester United will listen to offers in the region of 60 to 70 million pounds for Alejandro Garnacho. And Sully Talks, who's really good with inside information regarding United, said, understand Amorim and Garnacho's relationship is broken and he won't be in the matchday squad tomorrow. That's obviously for today. And then as broken by Ornstein, Ruben told Garner after the meeting today to find a new club. Garner furious when told he won't be starting the final. Alejandro Garnacho to never play for Manchester United again. And if he has kicked off about not being involved in the team, like I said this after the kind of final, I can understand Garnacho's perspective. We've all got opinions on Amorim and the team selection and everything of that regarding it, but the attitude and the way it went about, I don't like. It doesn't sit right with me when players come out, disrespecting managers and giving interviews like that as well. I don't like it. It's not the first time Garnacho's done it. Garnacho was like in posts that were criticising Erik ten Hag when he's not been selected, and it's always when he's not selected in the team. He throws his toys out of his pram, and I don't like that attitude. I genuinely don't, from any player, regardless of who they are. Sean Connolly, though, who also is a good source, said that Manchester United officials had retained hopes of acquiring 55 to 60 million pound for the player in January. Talks will be entertained for less with a considerable sell-on fee. So again, Sean Connolly suggested that maybe we would accept less than 55 to 60 million pounds if there is a large sell-on fee for Garnacho. Garnacho is not expected to have any squad involvement against Villa on Sunday. The club are working to part ways as soon as possible. So this is clearly, something that is being backed by the hierarchy at United as well. Fabrizio Romano said that Alejandro Garnacho will leave Manchester United. Both sides want to part ways this summer. Currently, the situation depends on the clubs interested in signing him. So Romano saying both parties want to part way as well. So again, suggesting that obviously Garnacho wants to leave and Amorim doesn't want him in the kind of squad. Graham Bailey has said that Alejandro Garnacho's agents have spoken with Arsenal to confirm the situation. Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are leading the race, so there might be more interest in Alejandro Garnacho than first believed, with Chelsea and Napoli believed to be the two kind of teams. Arsenal I wouldn't want him to go to a Premier League club. But again, I'll share my thoughts once we've gone through the news. Atletico Madrid, that would be interesting from them. Imagine like Atletico going for Antony, because there's a report on that in a second I'm going to bring to you, and Garnacho. That would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? James Ducker from The Telegraph, though, has said that Antonio Conte's Napoli has renewed interest in Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United wants £60 million. So that's my kind of biggest fear regarding the situation is, it's an odd one, the Garnacho situation, because, he's a very talented player, got bags of potential. I'm sure you will get involved in the comments and share your thoughts regarding the situation. But I think we will regret the Garnacho situation or selling Garnacho. But I don't think it's a mistake. I genuinely don't. I think we'll regret it because he's got potential to go away and become a really good player and a top player. So I do think we will be regretful in that. But for me personally, I don't think it will be a mistake, because you cannot have players with the wrong attitude. And one of the biggest issues and the biggest kind of problems we've had at United for years, is, as much as the owners and all that kind of stuff, right? But in terms of the playing squad, is the culture. The culture behind the scenes has not been right, and it's led to this kind of position where players have had all the power and they can just down tools for a manager, and then the manager gets sacked, and then we bring in another manager. They do really well for a season, then they down tools, and then we get another manager, and so on and so forth. Right? This has been going on, this cycle, for far too long. And any player that has a bad attitude or a poor mentality, or is not a team player and is spitting their dummy out of their prams when they're not being selected for games, regardless of whether you agree with the decision or not, has to kind of go. We need to start the rebuild, and we need to start with the players with the wrong attitude. So yes, I think we will regret the Garnacho situation, and I think we'll regret, but again, you've got to look at what built up to this. Is this something that we've empowered players like this, through our inability to stamp our authority for the last few years before Ineos and before Ruben Amorim came in? Because we know there has been a cultural problem. Like, these players down tools for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is a club legend, and stopped running for him. It went back all the way to the Mourinho days, where there was obviously player power, and I think that was the kind of the start of it, where the club did not back Mourinho. They sided on the kind of players' side, got rid of Mourinho, and then that gave the players all the power, because they knew full well from that moment in time they didn't have to do what a manager says, because ultimately the manager will get sacked, not the players, and the players will be backed. And that's created this kind of environment and that toxicity where the players feel empowered and they feel that they can get away with doing things, that no other team would kind of tolerate, or no other football club would tolerate, when players are kicking off about not being selected or doing things, off the pitch and behind the scenes and stuff. So for me, any player like that needs to go. In fact, they need to be the first players out the door. The players with the wrong mentality, the wrong mindset need to go. They need to go first, because I would take a team of Ander Herrera's over a team of Garnacho's any day of the week, because they've got the right mentality, the right work rate, the right attitude, and I think that they would win over a team of Garnacho's all day long as well. So yeah, that's my kind of opinion on it as well. But yeah, I'm sure you will get involved in the comments, because I know this is going to be pretty mixed from previous videos when we've been speaking about Garnacho as well. But give us your shouts in the comments below. It'll be interesting to read those later on. The kind of two big things areas though. One, I think we need to get good value for money for him, because he is a potentially very, very good player, still young, got bags of growth in him as well. If he goes to the right place with the right environment and the right kind of culture and toes the line and stuff like that as well, I do think he could go on to be a really, really a top player. So we need to get value for money for him. But then secondly, we need to bring in a good replacement. Like, we can't be selling, like, that's been the problem with United, is we've sold players and then the replacements haven't been as good as the players that we've sold, or sometimes the replacements come in when we don't even sell a player, and then the player that we buy gets sold before the player that they were meant to replace. So we need to kind of get somebody better than Garnacho. That would be the only kind of two things I would say regarding it, is where we need to get good value for money, and we need to bring in a good replacement. Now, one of the replacements already might be Matheus Cunha. So Nico, who's this Italian journalist, who's fairly decent as well, was garnered with the done deal and confirmed. Matheus Cunha will become a Manchester United player for €70 million, payments in 3 installments. contract until 2030 with the option for 2031. So I think it was the first journalist or first reporter I've kind of seen going out with a done deal and confirmed story, and waiting for more kind of confirmation from a Romano or an Ornstein or a Laurie Whitwell or somebody of a bit more credibility than Nico, but he seems to be going quite early with the done deal and confirmed contract as well till 2030, 2031, 3 installments with Wolves for the release clause as well. So, that is already, I think, the replacement for Garnacho. Obviously, we need to bring in more forwards. We've been speaking the last couple of days regarding the striker situation. There's an update on Hojlund I'm going to go through in a bit as well today. We know we're looking for 3 forwards, 2 number 10s, and a striker. Obviously, we needed forwards anyway, and especially if we're going to get rid of Garnacho now, or effectively Garnacho's gone because the reports are he's not going to play again for United. So either way, we definitely need to bring in reinforcements in the front, but it's just the quality. Is it the right quality of player as well? I think Cunha is going to be a good deal, but there's still question marks around it until he puts on a United shirt and does things on the pitch. Nobody knows for certain, but I do think he ticks a lot of the boxes of what we're kind of looking for as well. But yeah, but give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on Matheus Cunha as well. Good replacement for Garnacho. I think so. I think it's a upgrade. He's a good age, proven goal scorer, got more goals, more assists. Good attitude as well. So I'm actually I'm all right with that as well. It's just you don't know until they kick a ball for United what's kind of gonna happen. But yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. But give us your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's move on to another story that's come out. So this is a weird one. So it came apparently from Miguel Delaney, has said that Manchester United are interested in signing Jack Grealish if they get confirmation that City will sell for a reasonable price in the summer. And that caught me off guard to the point where I was like, I don't actually know how to think about that deal. But Miguel Delaney has come out himself and said he didn't say that. So that is a bullshit report that's come out from, I think it was Team Talk that have quoted Miguel Delaney saying that, but Miguel Delaney has come out and saying he has not said that. So we can dismiss that as BS straight away before I even had a chance to think, God, what do I think about Jack Grealish coming to United? It's already been dismissed, so we can eradicate that from our mind. I mean, yeah, still don't know how I would feel about that one. But let's move on to some more exit news. So Manchester United are thinking about Bruno Fernandes' offer from Al Hilal. There's a possibility Bruno can leave this summer. So the Muppeteers were kind of saying that, look, there's serious consideration from the club to accept the offer from the Saudi Pro League for Bruno Fernandes. Interestingly, though, I felt this was a really good kind of comment from Ruben Amorim in an interview that he did with TNT. Where he said when he was speaking about Bruno, he said it's important that Bruno notices that we're changing a lot of things at our club, the behaviour, the daily organisation, the training sessions. If he sees that we are doing that at all levels, he'll want to stay. So does that am I reading this wrong, suggesting that maybe Amrim there is saying that Bruno actually wants to leave? Maybe because of what's been going on this season with all the sackings and all the kind of upheaval and everything that's been going on, because you remember players are friends with some of these people that have been at the clubs as well. There's not a separation just because they're a player. They can't be friends with the kit man or, somebody else in the club that's been kind of sacked off. But that read to me like Amorim saying, look, maybe if Bruno sees that we are making these changes and everything's going to be okay, he'll want to stay, which is interesting. And he went on to say he loves this club. That's the most important thing, not the Champions League. He wants to win with this club. He trains at a high level. Everyone here has to do that. He'll be there for that. So again, Ruben Amorim, he dismissed the kind of questions in his press conference, but I kind of seen that in an interview that he did with TNT, and I was like, oh, that's really kind of like, am I reading that wrong? Let me know if I'm let me know what you think regarding that as well. But that sounds to me like Amorim saying Bruno wants to go, but hope maybe because of what's going on behind the scenes and the state of the club at the moment. But Ruben Amorim saying, well, now maybe he sees that we are starting to get it right. Maybe he'll want to stay. But again, the Muppeteers saying United are considering the offer as well. So this is one, obviously he's been given a deadline as well. I think it's tomorrow. So we might hear more. It's going to be interesting to see Bruno's body language after the full-time whistle today. I think that will be a tell, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of happens regarding that as well. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens regarding Bruno. But give us your shouts on that in the comments below. Now, Ruben Amorim is also, I don't know whether it's been direct told. There are reports around that Ruben Amorim has also told Andrea Onana to find a new club as well, but I can't confirm that at this moment in time. But Andrea Onana is set to be dropped from Manchester United's lineup versus Aston Villa today. Future remains unclear as we head into the summer. And again, Sully Talks has been really good recently regarding team news and injury updates and inside information regarding the club, almost suggesting that Andrea Onana could be dropped for the game today as well, which then, if the reports or the rumours are true, that apparently Ruben Amorim has also told Andrea Onana to go and find a new club as well, then that would make sense as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I'm recording this video before the match and before the team news has actually come out. But we'll need to wait and see and keep an eye on that to see if that story is to be believed. Because if he's not in the team, then maybe I could believe the rumours around him being told that he can leave as well. But if he is in the team, maybe that dismisses those kind of rumours as well. But we'll need to keep an eye on that one. But interestingly, Luke Shaw is not in Ruben Amorim's plans he is ready to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. So again, Nico, Italian journalist, fairly decent as well, suggesting that Luke Shaw is also not in Ruben Amorim's plan. And interestingly, that Luke Shaw would be ready to leave Manchester United this transfer window because, we know that the situation with Luke Shaw, salary, very high wages, he's got still a few years left on his contract still as well. Injury prone, yes, he's been back for a few games, not exactly had good games neither as well, I don't think. And he did say in his post-match press conference or post-match interview as well, saying that, look, players, we need to have a look at ourselves to ask if we're good enough to be at United. I did kind of say he needs to start with himself, looking in the mirror as well. So maybe he has, and maybe he's decided actually, maybe my time is up at Manchester United. Because of all the injuries finally taking its toll on kind of Luke Shaw, because it can't be good for him having all that time out of football to maintain your kind of fitness and, you're like, it's a shame what happened with Luke Shaw, because that leg break kind of did effectively ruin his career, because ever since that moment he's been injured all the time, consistently injured, and it's a shame because he is a massive he is a very, very talented player when he's available. It's just availability with Luke Shaw, isn't it, as well? So we need to keep an eye on that one. So that'll be interesting for the summer, because if Luke Shaw does go, definitely need to bring in defenders. We definitely need, obviously Martinez is injured. So that'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out in the summer. Now, another player that could also be removed or sold or loaned out is Rasmus Højlund. So Manchester United are open to parting ways with Rasmus Højlund after a disappointing season. Amorim has made it clear to Manchester United's hierarchy that Højlund being the only striker is not a situation he wants to continue. The Portuguese is said to be very surprised at Højlund's level of quality given how much money he cost. It would also appear that that if Man United failed to find a buyer for Højlund, they are happy for him to depart on loan. So that came from Gimme Sport, suggesting that Amorim's been surprised at how bad Højlund is for the money that he kind of costs, and that he does not want to have him as the only striker next season, and that he's basically told the hierarchy that, and then also we could be looking to sell him or potentially loan him out if we can't get a buyer for him as well. So again, no smoke without fire regarding Højlund and his situation as well. There has been loads of reports and stories over the last few kind of days suggesting that Højlund might be again on the exit list for the summer, which is insane, isn't it? When you think like Garnacho, Rashford, Antony's update on him I'll go through next, Sancho, Højlund, like they're Onana, Luke Shaw, Eriksen, Lindelof. The exits are piling up, and that's how you do a rebuild. You get, and this is exactly what Ruben Amorim did at Sporting. Got rid of a lot of players and brought in a lot of players as well. And obviously, we do need a thinner squad next season as well, with no European football. So, Ruben Amorim's kind of like, all the club wasted no time, it seems, with their kind of exit plans. Antony. On him, Real Betis are desperate to keep Antony at the club next season, but can't afford the £40 million Manchester United demand. Well, unlucky, that's the price. If you haven't got the money, jog on. Atletico Madrid have been monitoring Antony's situation as well, so that'll be interesting. If Betis want Antony but don't have the money, if Atletico Madrid want him and do have the money, then that would be an interesting one to keep an eye on. And as I mentioned that earlier, maybe you could see a situation with Antony and Garnacho both at Atletico. That would be interesting to kind of see, wouldn't it? But then the Independent are also saying the same thing. Atletico Madrid want to sign Antony for Manchester United this summer after the Brazilian's loans performance at Real Betis. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That could be some legs, and that's some good good sources there as well. Mullock in the Mirror and the Independent both effectively saying the same thing, that maybe Atletico Madrid are also interested in Antony. They will have the money to pay the 30 to 40 million pounds that we want for Antony if Real Betis can't, because unlucky, we're not a charity. You want Antony, you want him to stay, cough up the dough, and that's it for me regarding that. And then the final stories, I mentioned them before. So Lindelof will leave Manchester United at the end of the season. That came from Romano. And Nico has said that Eriksen will leaves Manchester United as a free agent. Today is his last game as a Manchester United player as well, but we knew that anyway. So, but it's a confirmation that they're not going to be offered new late deals or late contracts and that as well. So that is an absolute ton of exit noise going on. Obviously, the biggest one, Garnacho. The Bruno Fernandes situation we'll kind of keep an eye on. By all accounts with Bruno, it's effectively maybe down to him. I think Amorim wants to keep Bruno, so we'll see. And if they are back in Ruben Amorim, then, maybe, and I know we've not got Champions League money and the financials are bad at United, but if you're selling players like Rashford, who's homegrown profit, Garnacho, homegrown profit, we're going to make money on Alvaro's potential deal to Real Madrid as well. There could be some extra money we would get if Mason Greenwood leaves Marseille. So we are actually in a position this summer where we're probably with that income coming in with PSR, we can probably spend a lot of money just through that. So the need to sell Bruno is not necessarily there. If we weren't in a position where we could sell other players, then maybe it would be a different situation. So we just need to keep an eye on the Bruno Fernandes situation and see how that kind of plays out. But Garnacho's definitely gone. Obviously, reports there that Onana might not be in the team today as well. I don't know about the rumours around him being told he can leave. We'll need to wait and see how that kind of plays out. Luke Shaw potentially go in, Lindelof, Eriksen. Like, it's a start, isn't it? I think it's a good start as well. To finally having this kind of rebuild, because we all talk about it, but we've never seen anything like this. We've never seen the kind of, first team players, popular players like Rashford and Garnacho, effectively the first two potentially out of the door under Ruben Amorim as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Hold on to your horses. Subscribe to the channel as well, because we'll bring you all the updates when they kind of come out as well. Give us your thoughts on everything discussed though in today's video. Like the video on your way out. I'll see you in the next one.